I'm Ken Beattie, and I'm a writer. I'm traveling the world looking for the relationships between people and plants. Plants are essential to our lives. They give us food, clothing, shelter, and medicine. Plants also contribute to our beliefs and our day-to-day traditions of etiquette and ceremony. During my travels, I went to the exotic islands of Fiji, and it was there I discovered a plant that plays a profound role in the lives of these people. That plant is Kava. Now, Fiji is a country of more than 300 islands in the southwest Pacific. It's found between the island of Samoa to the north and New Zealand to the south. Most of the people in Fiji live on two of the largest islands. Vitalevu is Great Fiji, and Vanuatu, the large island. I arrived in Nadi, the capital of Fiji, on the island of Vitalevu. Outside the airport, I introduced myself to a couple of policemen. They gave me a few words of advice while in Fiji. Always take off my shoes before entering a Fijian home, never enter a village without permission, and always carry a bundle of kava roots under my arm when I do. With some directions to the nearest market, I headed off to buy some. Jackfruit?
Yeah. You wouldn't want that to fall on your head? No, we don't.
I met Alaferetti Mbogava at the market. He works in the government's cultural office and agreed to help me buy my kava.
Yeah, it's kava.
How much do I ask for?
1 kilo.
1 kilo?
Yes.
Kava roots recently harvested from the ground are always sold in bundles. The plant is a member of the pepper family, a family that includes many medicines and spices. But these kava roots are the ones used by local Fijians to make the ceremonial drink called yangona. It's been used here for centuries. I paid 20 Fijian dollars for my bundle, about the same cost as a meal at a local restaurant.
Okay, good. That's that. That's that, yeah. Now where?
With the yangona under my arm, Alaferetti and I headed off to the first village. The islands of Fiji are quite mountainous, mostly volcanic. The village sits along the seashore, and some of the homes are wooden, and others are more traditional-style bures. Inside the community meeting house, Alaferetti introduces me to the chief of the village and the other men. The women sit behind us. Now, Alaferetti is my sponsor and is responsible for bringing me here. Next, his representative from the village speaks to the group for both of us. He's explaining the purpose of our trip while holding my gift of kava for the chief. To show agreement and acceptance of our presence, the group claps, Fijian style. And I'm encouraged to clap too. Then it's time to shake hands, and I'm allowed to introduce myself personally by name.
Ken.
Once the introductions are complete, it's time for the yangona. I'm invited to sit beside the chief while the kava is being mixed in its special three-legged bowl.
We know that you're coming from afar, but we always want to see people coming from far away, especially Canada, to visit us. Taking pictures about us and having to know about us is an honor to us, so that the people of Canada can know us too. We are very grateful about it because you picked this as a locality about Fiji. Thank you very much.
Vinaka for allowing us to take part in such a ritual, in such a interesting ceremony, and to allow us to come into something that is so close to your hearts. It's very much an honor for us to be here. It's time to drink yangona. Fijians have a very definite hierarchy. The most important person in the room, the chief, is served first. The clapping is a common technique used to awaken the supernatural, and sometimes it also signals that the bowl is empty. The next important person in the room is the former chief, and he's served second. Then, out of pure respect for foreigners, I am next to be served. My drink of yangona is served in a coconut shell. I felt a little nervous. I really had no idea what this was going to taste like. Well, to me it tasted a little medicinal and earthy at the same time, like mouthwash with a touch of sand. My lips went a bit numb and my tongue felt furry. After that, the yangona was passed around the room and the formalities were relaxed. I felt honored. At that moment, I had been accepted and welcomed into this community.
The story of yangona, indeed, is probably one of the strongest stories of how people and plants play such an important role together. So thank you again very much, Vinaka, for allowing us in. It's truly a pleasure, and we are honored, all of us, to be here.
The children had been waiting outside all this time, and they started to sing, welcoming me in their own special way. It was getting dark, and I was starting to feel the effects of the kava, a little sleepy. The next morning, I could see that the hills behind the village were barren from years of over-harvesting and burning. Alaferetti Mbogava's job takes him to many small villages on this island. He took me to this one because he's involved in a special project here. He's teaching the children ages 10 to 20 how to replant their heritage. Part of that heritage is planting kava.
Our education system do not accommodate this, the traditional knowledge. So things are coming from outside into our minds and into our daily life. Culture is something important to us, so we have to bring this up so that we do not lose our identity and our heritage.
He's been coming here for several months now, and he's taught the children how to make a greenhouse, protecting their seedlings from the hot Fijian sun. Eager to work, they make a song out of weeding. The goal of Alaferetti's project is to establish a kind of Garden of Eden in each community, a garden where medicine plants grow alongside the fruit trees and the kava plants.
See, if a family forgets this thing, then to the Fijian culture, you know, they've lost their value.
Alaferetti instructs a young boy on how to plant his seedling. In Fiji, it seems the soil requires very little preparation. Just dig and put it in. It won't take long for this kava plant to grow. In a year, village elders will have fresh yangona roots to harvest. And these children will know that they've contributed to keeping the tradition and heritage alive. When we come back, we'll learn how the popularity of kava has one plantation owner growing his plants undercover. The popularity of kava has spread from the traditional uses in the village to the streets and office places of the cities. Not everyone is happy about that. Dr. Asel Ravuvu is a professor of civic studies at the University of the South Pacific in Suva. He says during the old days, yangona was used in a very respectful manner to stimulate a connection between Fijians and their ancestors in the next world.
There's not much of the social drinking that is now going on nowadays, and only a few people drink kava. Nowadays, you know, women are also drinking a lot of kava, and young fellows. During the time when, you know, I was a young man in the village, or a small boy in the village, kava is only drunk by the chief and the few elders.
Other traditions include apologies and forgiveness.
Even in families, if my son does wrong to me or doesn't obey what I intend to do, the only way for him to ask forgiveness is him presenting the yangona to me. Whereas in English, you apologize. For us to apologize, we bring the kava and present it, asking for forgiveness.
Would a father ever refuse to drink kava?
He does. Personally, you have to try again some other day when the mood is right.
When I used to be sent to boarding schools, a kava ceremony is always offered to the ancestral god, that my journey is safe and that they look after me during my journey and that I will safely return home.
In the past, it was the job of the older women in the village to chew the yangona roots to make the ceremonial drink. It was said to have given them good, strong teeth. and pregnant women believe that drinking yangona will give them babies with clear, smooth skin. Today in Fiji, some men resent the fact that women are drinking it.
I don't like it. Because I'm gonna only for chiefs and males.
And the women don't like the men drinking quite so much of it.
When they drink too much yangona, at times we feel sad because sometimes when they drink too much they get sick and it affects them because they loss of appetite and things like that.
They're not active. You know, they cannot go to the garden. If they drink a lot of yangona tonight, they'll wake up by 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, or they wake up very late and make their body feel dizzy and weaken their joints. And
Women generally never drank yangona, so it has only recently become more penetrated through the whole society, the way the English drink tea. I have found out, trying to get up, that I can't move. The head has remained clear, as always with kava. You never go drunk in a sense of acting silly. You never lose your clear thinking. But you suddenly find out you've lost your motor coordination. You can't walk in a straight line. And I've certainly been unable to get up.
Ron Gaddy has drunk his share of yangona. He's Tasmanian from Australia and has spent most of his 68 years living in Fiji. He came here as a child with his father, who was in the Air Force, and he considers himself Fijian by association.
In a sense, I have the right to speak as a Fijian. And that's, I think, an anomaly, that I know the culture, but I'm not Fijian, and I don't get confused. I don't dress as a Fijian. It's just that I can enter into their culture. Kava is a very important part of that culture. When they want to know how to grow kava, they ask me, a white man.
After teaching for years in the U.S., Ron returned to Fiji to grow plants. He owns several hundred acres on this and other islands, large plantations where he grows vanilla beans, peppercorns, and kava. Most of his kava crops are hidden. Only his top farm managers know the exact location. He says the plant has become so popular and so expensive that people are stealing it.
We found pretty quickly that the theft problem is so great. Each one of these plants, this one is worth at least $150. It can be pulled out in 3 minutes by 2 strong men. It's too tempting. It's green gold.
He has some of this green gold growing close to home for his own use, but the majority of his crops are well hidden, away from people.
Near any population, you have to hide your yangona somewhere in the bush. You have to be prepared to be violent in protecting it. And I can't really do that myself. Fijians do it. So now the main producing areas are remote from this main island of Viti level. They're out in the outlying islands where they can guard it better.
Dr. Bavuvu says people are doing a lot more than just hiding their plants these days.
They put microchip on it, almost at every kava plant to check it, and they can monitor from a center that somebody's pinching the kava, and shortly you'll find someone there with a gun or something like that.
That's amazing.
Well, that shows the potential of kava.
Much of Ron Gaddy's crop is shipped overseas. He sells his kava to a pharmaceutical company in Germany, where they're using it to make a herbal sedative, and then selling it around the world.
It does have a very good effect, which is well proven scientifically, to alleviate anxiety. So instead of the Valiums and other modern remedies for anxiety, kava is a natural product that will do the same thing.
The leaves of the kava plant are broad and rather simple. The plant really has no specific or defining shape to it. New plants are started with stalks taken from the existing ones.
And we take cuttings 8-10 inches long, with 1 node at least, and plant it 3 or 4 of those in a mound. And each separate plant will join together to form one. So it is a mysterious plant.
Beautiful plant. It's as tall as me almost.
Well, they can grow up to 10 feet tall or so.
And we can get back out this way?
Yes.
Okay, I don't want to step on anything that maybe I shouldn't be stepping on. Back at Ron's home, preparations were underway for a Kava ceremony. I'd been invited to stay for lunch. Ron's workers had prepared a lovo, or earth oven, Fijian style. All the food had been carefully wrapped and put in a small pit underground with hot coals. It's been cooking for at least 6 hours. As the oven was uncovered, aromas filled the air. The men pulled out packets of chicken, pork, taro, and other special Fijian vegetables. Mario, one of Ron's farm managers, quickly weaves a palm branch into a fan. One of the older children is given the fan to keep the insects off the food. Because before we can eat, we're going to make kava to drink.
But this is the part this is the root, right?
Yeah, these are the roots. Very powerful. And the Polynesian people will take off the skins by just scrubbing them, scrape them, you see?
To make it white. Oh, I see.
Yeah, yeah.
I see.
Scrape off. You very often with a scrubbing brush these days, they'll use it to take off, and so it'll be white color, and it's very powerful stuff to drink.
The small, fresh roots are chopped into pieces. Mario then grinds the pieces on a sacred rock, one that's been used to make yangona in this household for many, many years. The fresh scrapings are put into a cloth sack, and it's then soaked in water in the tanawa, the sacred three-legged kava bowl. The water is squeezed through the sack several times, releasing the chemicals, the kava lactones. This time, I was served the kava first. I was a little surprised by that, but Ron explained to me why.
We treat you with the highest respect because you are a visitor, and also we may be uncertain of your importance. We certainly don't want to underestimate it, so we'll always exaggerate it. Even if you're a nobody coming along, we will always elevate you temporarily. Within a week or whatever, as soon as we have really located where you belong, we may bring you down.
Well, that didn't happen. I was treated like a chief all day long.
See you smile. Beautiful.
When we come back, the future of kava in Fiji. Before I left the island, I returned to the village where I had spent my first evening. The elders wanted to treat me to a chief's ceremony, something I'm told few outsiders ever get a chance to witness. All the men in the village are dressed in their traditional costumes, and kava is served to the chiefs. Sacred water is poured from a bamboo pole to make the yangona. It's a spiritual ceremony of respect and belief, acknowledging the chief's role of wisdom and leadership in the village. You know, I was starting to get kind of used to this kava ceremony. Even my clap was getting a little better. I was feeling more comfortable all around. I was also feeling the effects of the kava. I understand why Fijians say it helps them think clearly, because I too was feeling that sensation from this plant. Dr. Ravuvu recently returned from a conference on kava off the island. He says he often finds himself defending the religious role this plant plays in Fijian life.
When you look at the North American ceremonies in relation to church communion, there's not much difference in that. Only maybe the difference, one is using wine and a piece of bread in relation to the Christian God. We are using this kava for our own traditional gods. So to me, when I sat there observing both, we are doing the same thing, but unfortunately one is called witchcraft and the other one is Christian communion.
I was a diver for some 5 years and fisherman. Whenever I drank Yangona, and I still today, I will quietly, nobody will see me, pour a libation to the shark god. I must.
We believe in the Kava that this world is only a first step to the second world. So the second world is where all the ancestral spirits are believed to be.
To the outside world, sometimes Yangona is seen as a detriment to the society, a drug that makes the Fijians too lazy to work. Now, granted, there are people who drink too much.
We have people who are substance abusers, certainly. What happens is that they drink kava all day and become lethargic. That is an avoidance, of course, of their day. It's like a depressive person sleeping all day.
Yet for many people, it's exactly what they need.
It slows you down sometimes, and if you work hard during the day, you need a few bowls of kava that sends you back to sleep. It's a kind of a therapeutic drink for us, apart from its religious uses.
My last few hours in Fiji were spent dancing. The Yangona hadn't made my limbs numb just yet. I found the Fijian people to be very warm and most appreciative of the fact that I was interested in them. Kava is becoming popular as a natural sedative in pill form. I hope this success around the world will not overshadow the traditional relationship between this plant and the people of these South Pacific Islands. I learned here that kava, Yangona rather, is more than a medicinal drink to knock you out at the end of a hard day. Yangona is rooted in primitive tradition, yet so vital in their modern world. Because Yangona shows respect, it's used to ask for permission and forgiveness. It facilitates prayer and spirituality, and Yangona embodies politeness. If you think about it, Yangona is the foundation for structure and social order in this country. I can't think of another plant that does that anywhere in this world. I'm Ken Beattie. I hope you'll join me again next time as we journey through the Earth's garden.